It's been 5 months in the making, and by very popular demand, here is your part 3 video. Juujika no Rokunin follows Yuruma getting his revenge on his elementary school bullies by brutally torturing and murdering them. In the last video, the leader of the bullies, Shigoku, kills Yuruma's brother and grandfather, then escapes, leaving Yuruma to get arrested for killing a police officer. So now that Yuruma is arrested, will he die in jail or will he escape and finally get his revenge on Shigoku? This whole month we are going to be doing a voting poll, taking votes for your favorite horror manga or manhwa. The series with the most votes will be getting a video review released July 30th. The winner will be announced on July 1st, so go down in the description below and click on the Google form to begin voting now. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. News of Yuruma's arrest spreads throughout the city and even reaches the school. Asako has been trying to interrogate him about the school incident, but Yuruma remains silent. She asks if he killed Anzai, but he refuses to speak. Eventually, Yuruma is sentenced to 5 years in prison for killing the people in the school. Asako investigates his house but finds nothing. Suddenly, Chizuru shows up at Yuruma's house. Asako tries to interrogate her as well, but Chizuru won't break. She says that she believes in Yuruma. In prison, Yuruma blames himself for the deaths of his brother and grandfather, and he vows to get stronger. We then cut to 5 years later. Chizuru is now in her second year of college and still thinks about Yuruma from time to time, wondering what he's doing now. Around campus, there's a rumor going around about a mysterious Twitter account called Juujika-san. Allegedly, if you send them a request, they'll fulfill it. Throughout the day, different boys and men flirt with and hit on Chizuru, including her own manager at work. At her job, Chizuru has a friend and co-worker named Manami. At first, Manami seems normal, but as the shift progresses, she starts acting very strange. By the end of the day, Manami tells Chizuru that she wants to kill her manager. Chizuru is shocked, obviously, but Manami explains that he drugged and raped her. You know this series is bad when I start adding a rape counter, by the way. She tried going to the police, but the drugs got her addicted and she kept coming back. The manager has apparently done this to multiple women. Manami asks Chizuru to help her kill him, but Chizuru realizes that getting her involved might be a little bit too dangerous. So instead, she decides to text Juujika-san asking if there's a way to kill her manager. The next morning, Chizuru gets a response, directing her to a specific location. Chizuru and Manami arrive and are greeted by a nurse who asks if they have herpes or chlamydia. The nurse, named Kawana, hands Chizuru a clipboard after she says the magic words, "I wanted to see you about an incurable disease." Chizuru fills out the form and is led to an exam room where a man named Kitami welcomes them. They are Juujika-san. Kitami says that they accept the request and that a specialist would take care of the manager. After she leaves, Kitama then goes up to the roof to meet with the specialist, who turns out to be none other than Yuruma. Later, Chizuru enters her house and is suddenly tackled to the ground by her own manager. He's been stalking her all day and knows that she's plotting something. Just as he's about to inject her with the drug, the door bursts open and a wire wraps around his neck. Yuruma, wearing a mask, enters and begins choking him out. The manager is knocked out and Yuruma removes his mask. Kitami appears as well and takes the manager away, leaving Chizuru stunned, wondering if that was really Yuruma. The manager wakes up tied to a chair, facing both Yuruma and Kitami. Yuruma gives him 3 minutes to live. The manager asks why they're doing this, and Kitami replies that they want to remove and cure all evil people. With 1 minute left, Kitami asks the manager which girl sent the request. The manager begins listing off a few names, but they're all incorrect. Just as he says Manami, Yuruma slashes his throat, killing him. As Kawana cleans up the scene, Kitami turns to Yuruma and wonders what he was like before the amnesia. Now, I didn't want to pause the reading and talk too much, but the only plotline that I hate other than time travel is amnesia stories. No, not you. I can't even explain why I hate it. I just haven't liked any of the movies or series that deals with amnesia. I think what makes this time a bit more frustrating though is that it's only used to make the series longer. I'll probably repeat it in the conclusion as well, but I think the series isn't supposed to be this long. It's kill all 5 bullies and then Yuruma either gets arrested and pay for his crimes or just has a happy-go-lucky ending and that's it. But we just gotta add on more and more things to it just because the author wanted to make this a lot longer, and it's honestly just unnecessary. 2 weeks have passed and Chizuru has a new manager, so everything seems normal again. However, she's still thinking about Yuruma. She visits the clinic and asks to see a guy with black hair. Kitami walks out and then warns her not to talk about them, saying that they're more dangerous than she realizes. Suddenly, Yuruma enters with lunch and Chizuru immediately recognizes him. She tries to talk to him about everything, but he says that he doesn't even know who she is. He has amnesia. Shocked, Chizuru gives him a piece of paper before leaving. As Yuruma reads it, a hidden memory begins to stir up. Meanwhile, Kitami sits in his office, flipping through a notebook filled with information about Yuruma and his past crimes. He begins to worry that Yuruma's past is coming for him. We flash back to Kitami disposing one of his first victims in a river, when suddenly, Yuruma emerges from the water, confused, asking where he is. Kitami panics, realizing that he has been seen and may just have to kill someone who hasn't even sinned. But instead, Yuruma tells Kitami that he's doing it wrong. He tells him how to dispose of a body correctly and then passes out. Intrigued, Kitami brings him back and performs emergency surgery. 2 months later, he introduces Yuruma to the Juujika plan. It's called Juujika because of the countless cross-shaped scars all over Yuruma's body. Back in the present, another patient arrives at the clinic. It's a 17-year-old boy named Teta, and he asks if they can kill someone for him. Teta and his grandfather used to be poor but happy with their lives, until his grandfather began acting strangely. One day, he bought Teta an old PC from a friend for a cheap price of 500,000 yen. Even though he's clearly been scammed, his grandfather just kept on smiling. Over time, he got weirder and weirder, ranting about a self-revolution. His mental state just got worse and worse, and when Teta called out his grandfather's scammer friends, his grandfather struck him, defending them. The next day, a man named Gonda, a leader of the Revolution Club, showed up. Gonda claimed Teta's grandfather owed him a massive debt and then threatened to turn him in unless Teta worked for him. Left with no choice, Teta spent his days serving Gonda. If he even made the smallest mistake, he was beaten. One day, his grandfather tried to fight back, but Gonda killed him with a single punch. Teta doesn't have much money, but he begs Juujika-san to kill Gonda, which Kitami agrees. After a disturbing scene where they force a girl to eat a man's feces, one of the most strangest transitions I've ever written on a script, by the way, a van pulls up. Yuruma opens the door and knocks Gonda out. Gonda then wakes up hanging upside down, with Yuruma standing in front of him, ready to pass judgment. Kitami enters, explaining that Gonda has a twisted obsession with forcing others to eat his own feces. Kitami inserts an enema, while Yuruma attaches a tube inside Gonda's butt and a mask to his face. Their plan is to force Gonda to crap himself and then ingest his own feces on repeat until he suffocates. And the plan works. But just before dying, Gonda cries out for Shigoku. The name sparks a blurry memory in Yuruma. Desperate, he demands to know who Shigoku is, however, it's too late. He's already dead. We then cut to a newscast. A reporter is about to interview a mysterious man who leads a revolutionary club with over 100,000 members, Shigoku. Yuruma begins digging for answers, convinced that Shigoku is tied to his amnesia. Later, Kawana asks Yuruma to meet her in front of a train station. Yuruma asks what they're doing, but she says that it's a secret. Yuruma begins to panic, wondering if this could be a date, and anxiously thinks about what it might mean. I do love seeing Yuruma act all comedic and different just because he has amnesia, even right after seeing probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. Just before Kawana leaves, she gives a knowing look towards Kitami. Yuruma waits for 3 hours outside the train station, but when Kawana doesn't show up, he decides to visit her house just in case. He heads to her apartment and finds the door wide open. Cautiously, he steps inside, thinking that there might be an intruder. Suddenly, he hears a loud noise and he rushes in, only to find Kawana knocked out on the ground, giving us one of the best shocked faces of all time. After recovering, Kawana gets ready, and then they head out towards what she calls somewhere fun. Unbeknownst to them, someone is following. Kawana takes Yuruma shopping, and the mysterious man continues to tail them. Yuruma quickly catches on and then swiftly takes the man out. It turns out that the man is Kawana's older brother. he was just checking up on her after seeing her leave with a guy. He leaves peacefully, and that moment gives Yuruma a feeling of brotherly nostalgia. Eventually, they arrive at a restaurant where Kitami is there waiting for them. It's a surprise birthday celebration for Yuruma. They don't actually know his actual birthday, but they felt that the day was special and wanted to celebrate. They give him a cross necklace, and for the first time in a long while, they share their first moments as a family. Later that night, Chizuru gets a call from Yuruma. He asks her if she knows anything about Shigoku. Chizuru doesn't recognize the name, but she tells him that she has something to show him. The next day, she takes him to his old burnt down house. She explains that this used to be his home and that he went to school just 3 yards away. Yuruma still can't remember much until he spots a shed nearby. He walks towards it, goes inside, and he finds his grandfather's rifle. The moment he picks it up, his memories come flooding back, including his original plan to kill Shigoku. But before we get to the next part, I just want to say that we now have a Discord server. So if you guys want to talk about your favorite series, get recommendations, and just connect with some like-minded fans of mine, then this is the server for you. We'll soon be hosting live community events like games, live reactions, and live readings only on the Discord server. So if you want to be involved in this, then why not scroll down and join our community. Also, we just opened up a Patreon, so if you guys want early access videos, uncensored videos, and just to support the channel in general, then why not go ahead and check out the Patreon. But back to the video. Yuruma wakes up at the clinic after passing out at his old shed. He tells the others everything that he remembers, but he still doesn't know how he lost his memories in the first place. Kawana wants to take action, but Yuruma doesn't want anyone to get involved. However, Kitami says that they're already involved, and now they all have to carry the burden together. At the Revolutionary Club, a boy hangs himself in an attempt to gain Shigoku's approval. However, Shigoku finds it boring. Suddenly, one of the members hands Shigoku a photo of Yuruma. Shigoku smiles, proclaiming he's returned to me. Later, Yuruma visits his family's grave to pray. While there, a man gives him a letter from his grandfather. The letter says he buried something special for Yuruma to use in his revenge. Yuruma digs it up and finds a special knife meant as a good luck charm. That night, the group decides who to target first: the man who killed Yuruma's grandfather, Andou Midori. We cut to an award ceremony where Anzai's widow, Mizuki, is being honored for a recent arrest. Before his death, Anzai had promised to take her on a honeymoon, but he died during the Yuruma case. Although Yuruma was never confirmed to be Anzai's killer, Mizuki says that if she ever met him, she just has to kill him herself. The next day, Mizuki and Osako are assigned a new case, investigating the mysterious Juujika Twitter account and its possible connection to recent disappearance. We then cut to a flashback of Kitami. As a child, he loved superheroes and took it upon himself to punish kids who did anything bad. However, it often got him in trouble. He later decided to become a doctor so he could become a hero in a more meaningful way. However, after accidentally killing a patient during surgery, he went to apologize to the widow. To his surprise, she thanked him. The patient had been very abusive and she felt free from him. That moment shifted Kitami's worldview. He realized that sometimes killing could save lives, but when he began doing it, it felt empty. He lacked purpose. That changed when Yuruma told him his story. For the first time ever, he felt that he had a reason to be a hero. The next day, Yuruma and Kawana go undercover at a revolutionary ceremony to gather intel, specifically on the 5 main leaders. During the event, the members are told to split into pairs for a roleplay exercise. Yuruma and Kawana get separated, and Yuruma ends up paired with a sleeping girl named Suzuyama Reo. The game is simple. One person has a ball, and the other has to persuade them to give it up, and no violence is allowed. Reo gives a weak argument at first, but tries again, this time claiming that she wants to avenge her sister's murder. The statement shocks Yuruma, and she successfully takes the ball. The roleplay ends, and afterwards, a woman approaches Yuruma and hands him a pamphlet for the club's upcoming training camp, where Andou is pictured. Yuruma and Kawana head to the training camp, which is located on a private island. Sadly, Kitami wasn't able to go because he didn't attend any lectures. The same people from the sermon are on the boat, including Reo, who's excited to see someone that she recognizes. She doesn't know Yuruma's real name, so he gives her his first name. Sean. Waiting for them is Andou, seen killing a group of puppies. The club members arrive at the island and are forced to surrender their luggage and cell phones, then are guided to their dorms. Once settled in, they head to the meeting hall where they're introduced to an instructor named Nakamura. He hypes up the crowd and introduces Andou and a mysterious associate. Yuruma vows to kill Andou, but first he must find a way to get close. The training camp operates like a summer camp, but with a bunch of harsh rules. Members must prove themselves through labor. Their first task is to plow the garden. Yuruma and Kawana are assigned to a team with 4 other members, 2 randoms, a deranged man named Tamiya, and a bikini model named Hanaoka, who most of the boys are already falling for, except for Yuruma. Yuruma is then picked as team leader, which makes Tamiya extremely jealous. As they work, the team compliments Yuruma's strength, and Hanaoka takes notice, giving him a wink, which infuriates Tamiya even further. That night, Yuruma lies awake, wondering what Hanaoka's wink meant and whether he should be concerned. Meanwhile, in another dorm, Tamiya is angrily scribbling on his desk, ranting about Yuruma. On the 3rd morning, Yuruma and Kawana eat breakfast and discuss Andou's possible location. They're on the west side of the island, so Yuruma suspects Andou might be on the east side. Escaping won't be easy. Yuruma has counted over 72 surveillance cameras across the camp. As they continue eating with Reo, a fight breaks out between an angry member and Nakamura. The member wants to leave, saying that he has an important meeting the next day, but Nakamura declares that no one leaves until they undergone self-revolution. That night, that member tries to sneak off into the woods, and the next morning, his body is found buried in the ground, with Nakamura openly admitting to killing him. Hanaoka grows worried, realizing that every member of her team, including Yuruma, is useless to her survival. Nakamura announces a new test. Each team must carry a large bundle of straws up a mountain to an incineration site. The team that fails must choose the member who contributed the least, who would then suffer the same fate as Nakamura's last victim. As the teams begin carrying the straws, Hanaoka struggles to keep up and starts falling behind. She begins to lose hope, flashing back to how her modeling career devolved into sex work and how she'd given up on life a long time ago. But Yuruma steps in to help her carry the straw, and in that moment, Hanaoka falls for him. Later that night, Nakamura tells Andou's right-hand man, Kurusu, that one person did more than double the amount of work than everyone else, Yuruma. Now intrigued, Kurusu wants to meet him. The next day, he calls Yuruma in for a chat. They discuss how Yuruma, known at the camp as Yoshida, isn't on any official record and only attended one lecture before fully embracing the club's teachings. Yuruma lies through his teeth, claiming that he's deeply impressed by the philosophy. This answer seems to satisfy Kurusu, and he lets him go. That night, Reo speaks to Yuruma through the dorm wall, saying that she can't sleep. Yuruma asks her if she wants any steak, and she laughs at him. He then invites her to a steakhouse once they return home, and Reo promises to go with him. Reo then gets tired and she quietly tells him goodnight, Yuruma-san. The next day, Reo is gone without a trace. We learn more about Kurusu. He's a prolific serial killer with no criminal record and has known Andou since elementary school. His victims are all women, and he takes their hands and then beats it to them afterward. One night, someone knocks on Yuruma's door. It's Andou, who reveals that he knows Yuruma's true identity. 3 men enter to subdue him, but Yuruma kills 2 and is eventually knocked out by Andou. The next morning, Nakamura announces to the camp that Yuruma tried to escape and will be executed in 3 days. Hanaoka, devastated, begs Kawana to help her rescue Yuruma. Meanwhile, Yuruma is being tortured in a prison cell by Andou, who slices off pieces of his flesh in the same pattern he once used on Yuruma's dead brother. At the cafeteria, the camp members are rewarded with slices of cake. Hanaoka and Kawana are too upset to eat, but Tamiya steals theirs and grows increasingly deranged. Kawana suspects something is in the cake, altering their behavior. Suddenly, the cake eaters turn violent, attacking and raping the ones who didn't eat any. Kawana and Hanaoka manage to escape, but Tamiya pursues them. Hanaoka distracts him while Kawana knocks him out with a wooden stick. They run, but Nakamura follows. While they enter a restricted area, he stops the chase. The girls hide in a field of poppy plants used to make opium, knowing now that opium was used in the cake. A siren blares and an announcement goes out about intruders in the sanctuary. Guards armed with AKs rush towards their location, and they barely escape, and they spot Kurusu, who casually informs the guards that Andou is torturing Yuruma in the pain room. Determined, the girls set out to find it, but they're spotted by more guards and are nearly killed until an unseen shooter kills the guards. As the girls leave, the shooter is revealed to be Reo, who has come for revenge against Kurusu. The girls are reunited with someone from their old group named Matsumo. He claims that he was retrieving his luggage and knows where everyone's belongings are. He leads them to the hidden shed, and they recover their phones. However, there's no signal. Kawana finds Yuruma's grandfather's knife in his bag. Suddenly, Matsumo locks the shed, and another boy emerges holding a weapon. Matsumo and the other boy attempt to hear the girls, but Kawana slashes one in the face and then threatens the other one. They escape, and they find Andou outside the pain room, his hands covered in blood. Kawana spots the entrance but fears that there's no other way inside. She then breaks down crying until a shadowy figure appears who turns out to be Kitami, who rolled all the way from the mainland. After hearing the situation, Kitami calmly suggests a solution: to make their own entrance. He then smashes a hole in the wall and finds a brutally beaten Yuruma hanging from the ceiling. They get him down, and Yuruma manages to stand on his own. Kitami and Kawana try to take him back to the boat, but he refuses. He still hasn't killed Andou yet. Kawana cries out to him, but he's too focused on revenge. She then hands him the knife, and he's off. Inside, Andou opens a package when Yuruma enters. Andou pulls out a chainsaw, and Yuruma charges, though he starts coughing up blood. Andou mocks his weakness, revs the chainsaw, and their fight begins. Yuruma flash steps and then manages to stab Andou in the eye. Then out of nowhere, the door bursts open and Kurusu is pinned down by Reo. She screams that he took everything away from her. Then she looks over at Yuruma and they begin bonding over their desire to torture their victims. Reo says that seeing Yuruma in the news sparked her own journey for vengeance. Kitami builds a torture device for both Andou and Kurusu. Kurusu then wakes up and sees Reo and calls her beautiful. Cutting to a flashback, Reo's parents died in a car accident and she was sent to an orphanage where she met Ryo. The two became like sisters, and one day, Kurusu adopted them, but under a different name. At first he seemed kind. They traveled, watched movies, played video games together, but after a year, Reo developed romantic feelings for him. She confessed them, but he told her to grow up and become more beautiful. Later, Kurusu called Ryo beautiful. Reo became extremely jealous and then told her that they weren't family. That night she begins packing her bags, and she believes to hear both of them sleeping together. Kurusu passed her in the hall saying that she was nothing special. Reo then checked inside Ryo's room and found her bleeding out, missing an arm. At that moment, Reo vowed to take revenge. Back in the present, Reo demands an apology. Kurusu refuses and tries to take poison hidden in his teeth, but doesn't know that Reo swapped it out. She won't let him die so easily. She tightens the crank on the torture device known as the stork, a contraption that forces victims into a painful tripod position, slowly pulling their muscles apart. Kurusu's body begins to shred as Reo demands another apology. He refuses, so she tightens the crank again. Meanwhile, Andou wakes up and he begins mocking Yuruma even as his body begins tearing itself apart. He says that Yuruma will never surpass him. So, Yuruma grabs a pair of scissors and then begins cutting off Andou's fingers. Kurusu tries to manipulate Reo, pretending to feel guilty and confessing his love to her. Reo hugs him, but then calls him a liar. She then snaps his neck, killing him. Andou cries out for him, and then he tries to go into a flashback before Yuruma smacks him out of it. Too weak to stab him to death, Yuruma instead throws gasoline on his face and then sets him on fire. As the building begins to burn, Reo retrieves Ryo's severed arm from a room filled with hands. The drug-producing plants then go up into flames, and the group escapes the island as it burns behind them. The arc ends with Kitami realizing Yuruma is holding something. Yuruma clutches a cell phone with one of Andou's fingers, now knowing Shigoku's whereabouts. And that is Juujika no Rokunin. Honestly, I couldn't wait to finish the series. This was so difficult to go through, specifically the time skip part. It was just so boring. I didn't care about the Theta storyline. I didn't care for Yuruma's amnesia. The series just started getting really interesting once Yuruma got his memories back and then he started hunting down Shikoku's team. People were saying how messed up and edgy this series was for a very long time, and I didn't expect this to be this gruesome and edgy. I think in just this video, there were like 4 or 5 rape scenes, a couple of suicides, and obviously some of the most messed up and disgusting scenes I've ever seen in any series. And it sucks because this is obviously for one reason, and that is to shock the audience. It is supposed to get a reaction out of us, and you know what? It worked. It got a reaction out of us, but it didn't make me want to keep on watching. I also really didn't like how this series was paced. It felt super slow, and some of the chapters actually felt like filler for some reason. It's just to make the series a lot longer. And while I did enjoy the Andou arc, I just wanted the series to be over with already. Was the series worth the 5-month wait? I personally don't think so, but I want to know, what do you guys think about this Timeskip and Andou arc? I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to join the Discord server. We are really close to reaching 1,000 members. If you want early access to videos, behind the scenes posts, and just uncensored videos, then go ahead and join the Patreon and YouTube membership. If you want more horror content like this one, then why not scroll down and hit that subscribe button. But I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.